Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. What Brent and I are going to be doing is teaching you guys how to leverage the Benzinga Pro platform. So over the next half hour or so, feel free to drop in any questions into the chat. This webinar is mainly for you guys, so we'd love to know how you guys would, any questions you guys have on how to use it. My name is Mike Marshall. I'm with Benzinga Pro. I work on the product and sales team over here. Also with me today is a special guest, Brent Slava. Brent, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey everybody, Brent Slava here. I'm one of the guys on the news desk helping run the content. We're helping populate the Benzinga Pro headlines all day. We're writing Benzinga.com articles, all that good stuff.
Excellent. Thanks, Brent.
Yeah.
So what you guys should be seeing here is the register page. So if you guys have not, please go ahead and register for the Benzinga Pro platform. The website right up here is pro.benzinga.com/register. After you fill this information out, you can then just click that tab right there. Same URL, just log in and use the email address you used, as well as the password you just created, and then you can just select log in. And what you should see here is just the blank screen of the workspace. And I'll show you guys really quickly just a couple of things that you can do. So the platform is automatically saving. So I'm just going to name these workspaces right up here, just so we can kind of understand and reference them as we go. So I'm just going to make 3 of them right up top. And we're going to make sure we talk about each one of these 3 widgets, we call them, today. And if you guys do have the questions, just drop them into the chat and we'll make sure to get to them. So now that we got this set up, we're going to go ahead and open up our news feed.
Hey, Mike, real quick. I wanted to jump back real quick. There was something that you did there kind of under the radar. You didn't say what you were doing there, but you jumped over to the settings, I think, right? You hit settings.
Correct.
You turned off the ticker bar. What is that thing? Turn that back on just for a second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, so it's a little ticker bar down there at the bottom. Why did you turn that off?
Okay, yeah. So great question, Brent. The reason I turned it off is I've gotten some feedback on the webinars that it just kind of makes it lag a little bit for the viewers.
Okay, just want to know. Yeah,
so,
I've seen you do that, and I was like, wait.
One thing that is interesting.
Turn it off though.
Well, what you can do up here is once you add a ticker or search a ticker up here in the search bar, it populates right down here.
Oh. So you try it and do it again.
Yeah. We could do GM now. And we typed it in there. It's the next one that's going to be coming across. We just typed that one in as well. So your ticker bar here at the bottom is going to be responsive with the different tickers that you have searched in the field.
Okay, thanks for doing that.
No problem. And then another feature that I usually brush over is the ability to change the light to dark theme.
So bright.
So yeah, I look at a screen all day, so I like it on the darker setting, but it really is up to your own personal preference. We could also turn off these notifications right down here every once in a while. I believe you yourself,
yes, absolutely,
Brent, put these notifications right down here.
Yeah, and I did want to talk a little bit about those later, so we'll get to those.
Excellent.
Sorry to derail you there, but I wanted
Not a problem.
Okay, cool. So you were talking about your 3 tabs here.
Yep. So we set up these 3 tabs. Another thing I wanted to show you guys is our development team puts these notifications right up here for you guys, and those things are to keep you informed on some of the new updates that we've just launched. So go ahead and take a look at those if you do have a little circle up there.
A little notification. Gotcha.
So before we dive in, since we're just doing a real quick overview, wanted to tell you guys that this platform does save. Auto save. So as you're moving along and say you're setting up filters, and we'll dive a little deeper into this, but we're setting up these filters and this is going to automatically save here. So I could log out of the platform, I could log right back in, and it is all set up exactly how I left it. So, if you guys are wondering how to save the features that you had set up, it is saving automatically. Brent, where should we get started?
Okay, so quick overview. So if you want to kind of zone out for a little bit and come back and tune in, I'll give you a little outline so you kind of know what we're gonna get into. So if we're sort of highlighting some of the more, I've been using the Benzinga Pro platform for years, so the stuff that I'm going to show everyone isn't necessarily advanced to me. It's kind of second nature. But I think to a lot of new users, you're going to see a lot of value in some of the stuff that I'm going to highlight to you today. The webinar was kind of entitled Advanced Techniques. So we're going to take you through at least three, see how many we can fit in, three of these techniques, stuff that I use on a daily basis. First, we're going to talk about Benzinga signals. It is a source that you can filter by, and Mike is showing you right now. Second, we're going to talk about how you can use the keyword search on Benzinga Pro. It's that big search field up there. It says, Mike's highlighting it right now, it says search by symbol or keyword. You can also do that. And then I touched on it really quickly earlier. Mike, you were talking just a little bit about it. Wanted to inform everyone on what the notifications does, where you can get tuned in, and kind of the value there. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Okay, awesome. And just kind of wanted to reiterate, if I'm explaining stuff, if Mike's explaining stuff, and we moved a little too fast, shoot us a message. We'll jump back for you. If you got any other questions, stuff that we're not talking about, shoot your questions in. If it's kind of not really flowing with the conversation, we'll save it till after. But please get involved, everyone.
Excellent. And I do notice that we may have a little bit of issues trying to sign up for the trial. So you will not be able to type it in on the screen that is being shared with you, but if you just use the URL,
you're saying like go to your own browser.
Go to your own browser,
okay.
Yep, and then just register, type that in, and that will bring you, I believe it's going to log us in because, yep, so this is where it's going to go. You can return to the home page and then just either log in or launch the platform to get started.
Cool. So we had a couple questions on getting logged in there. Just want to get those addressed real quick. So thanks everyone that chatted in real quick.
Excellent. And if we did have one other question come in,
okay.
Drop your email in PNkin. Drop your email in the questions, and I'm going to send that email over to our accounts team to have them send you a personal email while Brent is showing you some of these BZ signals, how to leverage some of those.
Okay, cool. So let me take over here, Mike. I'll drive. You sit shotgun. Okay, cool. So let's start with Benzinga signals. So how do you find this, and why might you want to use it? You kind of showed really quickly, Mike. In the top right here of your Benzinga Pro feed, there is the filter button. This is going to be a location where you can do a ton of cool stuff with the Benzinga Pro feed. Let's click into it and see what happens. So the first screen that you're presented with is, there's a couple tabs up here, right? The first tab you're going to be looking at is the categories tab. What is the categories? So categories are the types of news items that our reporters on the Benzinga news desk are tagging headlines and stories to. So in other words, it's earnings season right now. The wire is moving fast and furious. We're getting all these earnings reports in. If, for example, you only wanted to see earnings reports, you could click the earnings and guidance button here, and it is going to remove every other channel. So let me say that a different way, just for a little, another way to say it. If you don't have any filters clicked like this, it means you're getting everything in the feed. You're getting every Benzinga Pro headline, you're getting every Benzinga.com story. If you click one of these categories, you're getting only that category. So if you are a biotech trader and you want to get news on the FDA, you click FDA, you're only getting FDA news. So let's see. So the next tab over here is sources, and this is where we're going to find Benzinga signals, and this is kind of higher level than categories. Categories is, all operating within Benzinga headlines or Benzinga Pro headlines or Benzinga.com stories. Sources is where you can get to some other sources, obviously. You can get SEC filings. That's the raw SEC feed coming from the Edgar website. You can get press releases coming from MarketWired, Global Newswire, PR Newswire, all of the Newswire firms. You can get them coming right into your feed. This is like what I use. I use the press releases all day. I'm staring at this. If you want to get a lot more information, if you want to do your own research, this is a really good solution. If you are a little overwhelmed by the amount of press releases that could probably come out in a day, thousands and thousands, then you want to use the Benzinga wire filter here. So let's talk about BZ signals real quick. So I'm going to turn off Benzinga wire. We're only going to have Benzinga signals here. And what is Benzinga signals? So Benzinga signals is one of the only automatically generated headlines in the Benzinga Pro feed. Most of the other headlines that you see throughout the day are typed out by reporters on our news team. Benzinga signals is some organic solutions that we've created in-house. We're watching the market multiple times a second throughout the entire trading day and before. And when something happens in the market that we've set some criteria for, you're going to get an automatic signal to your Benzinga Pro feed. So this is really cool. So the categories that we have inside of Benzinga signals, and I'll just close this and we'll do a quick little demonstration here. So we have trading halts. You can get automatic trading halts. So let me type in halt. I can show it here for you. So what happened after the close day, Activision Blizzard had earnings. Ahead of those earnings, the stock was halted. You would not be able to trade the stock ahead of those earnings if it was after the halt. So this is very important information. If you're actively trading, of course, if Activision Blizzard shares are halted and you're trying to trade them and you're going, what the heck, I can't get any shares right now? Well, it's because there's no trading allowed. Also, when you get this code T1, what that code means is an indication of why the stock is being halted. T1 means that there is news coming. The actual term is news pending. So in the case of Activision Blizzard here, what happened is the stock was halted right at 4:02 and 3 seconds. That's Eastern time, and it was with code trading news, news pending. So you knew that there was going to be some kind of news item. And then just to show you what happened here, I'll pull up Activision Blizzard, and we'll kind of jump back to the BZ signals real quick. Let me just turn Benzinga wire on real quick. So you see shares of Activision Blizzard were halted. Here come the earnings, and it was a big news item for the day. That's why it's indicated red here. That is indicating a top news item of the day. And actually, we can kind of segue back here. You can see that in the categories screen, there's three little categories that are highlighted with red. What that red means is they are default a red bar on your screen. So we want these things to stand out hot. It's going to be a top news item today. And these two exclusives here, these are exclusive content. You can't get it anywhere else, provided by the Benzinga News Desk. Exclusives might be a cool interview with somebody fun, somebody trendy right now. Market movement exclusives is our highest level category. It is exclusive content that we are so confident is really good information that we think it's probably going to move a stock, and it's probably going to move it materially. Cool, so I'll jump back to sources here real quick. Let's turn our Benzinga signals back on and get back to describing these. So I talked about halts real quick. Also want to talk about price action. So I'm going to do a quick search here for the keyword spiking. We'll kind of talk about when we talk about keywords a little bit later, but what you can do as far as, you know, you're saying, Brent, you've been using this thing for a while. You know that there's the word spiking in this piece of language. How do we know that? Well, you just got to keep your eyes on the wire. You just got to get familiar with the platform a little bit. Take notice of the repeated language that we can use that you might be able to leverage with a keyword search like this. So anyway, so BZ signals, and we're talking about price action here. So what's happening here is that we have a system tracking all the stocks multiple times a second. If there is a move, I want to say it's like a 0.3. I see a 0.3 down here. The XLP moved down 0.3%. I think that if a stock moves 0.3% in a short time frame, like a matter of seconds, you're going to get an automatic alert here to Benzinga signals. If the move is over a longer time frame, like for example, if the move is over a 3 or 4 minute time frame, the move is going to have to be more pronounced. The move is going to have to be 1% or 2%. I'm not exactly sure what the numbers are, but this is going to be used for somebody who is more of an active trader. You're going to be using this to get signals throughout the day, and you're going to be getting them extremely quickly. Two more, real quick. Options. We also have automated option alerts, and what these are doing is our system is tracking a ton of options contracts throughout the day. If there is some, let's call it outsized volume or seeming outside interest in an option contract, you're going to get one of these automated option alerts. And I would really quickly, just to touch on this, kind of how I would recommend to use some of this isn't necessarily bullish or bearish. I would use it more so as an indication of interest. And that kind of leads me to the last one that I wanted to really quickly highlight in Benzinga signals, which is block trades. And this is one that is pretty new, pretty darn new. We just got it a couple weeks ago, I think. And what is happening here is we're watching the market. If an order comes in over, I believe it is 200,000 shares, if a block of shares over 200,000 comes into play, you're going to get an automatic alert here. And so look at kind of how this varies. You know, you get your 200,000s down here. You get all the way up to Chesapeake here, which had a 1 million block at about $5. And again, this is, you know, people chat in and they say, what's bullish and what's bearish here on these? Well, it's not really that easy to just look at a block trade and say, okay, this is an indication of bullishness or bearishness. Again, you want to use it to indicate interest. You want to indicate, you know, at least you know, it seems to be that there's some big better in deer right now. Why is that? I don't know. Well, let's go start doing a little bit of research. So these signals are going to be something that can prompt you to go maybe start digging a little bit more, start digging in your Benzinga Pro feed. Is there news? Start digging, you know, elsewhere around the street. Maybe chat in to the news desk here with this chat feature, and you can ask us, hey, do you guys know what's going on with deer? And we'll maybe get a hold of the company. We'll maybe try to call a couple of big shareholders in the name. You know, can you disclose if you're doing anything right now? That kind of stuff. It's sort of like your own access to your very own news desk here if you click into this news desk chat. Okay, so that was the first topic I wanted to talk about.
Yeah,
Mike,
so Brent, a couple things.
Cool.
You know, you showed me, you know, a couple different ways of how to jump back and forth from signals to the wire.
Yes.
One thing, you know, I just want to make sure that our viewers understand is instead of setting up or jumping back and forth on the filters right here, you can actually stack two news feeds right next to each other. So if we wanted to, you know, quickly see what was going on with DE, we could type it in right here. We don't have to change any of our filters. If we wanted to see more of one screen or the other, we could, because since we know this block trade is a shorter headline.
Right, good idea.
That's
a really good idea.
We could set it up like that. And also, you know, the way to understand if there is just a headline or if there's a little more to it would be how this is separated right here. So you see we have a lighter text and then a darker text. That's letting you know that you can click that headline and you can either single click it or double click it.
To pop out there, that's cool.
Yep. So, you know, just a couple usability functions.
Right.
Also, you know, what we can do is we could, you know, if you're wondering why these three categories are red,
right,
you could set these categories up as different themes.
To whatever you like, really, right?
Yes.
Gotcha.
And so just to kind of show that, we see that futures are green, and we're going to set it up where dividends will be purple-ish. And now we can just click away.
Go show me how that looks.
And now
nice.
It might give you viewers an understanding of why those were red.
And let me grab the mouse here for a sec, because this is one of my favorite things to do. This is like it's so simple, but this is probably one of my favorite things about how I use my own feed, I guess. Let me close this one. I'm just going to close this one right now. Well, you know what? I'm going to get crazy a little bit later on this, but for right now, this is what I like to do with my feed. So, you know, look at how much these stand out right here, right? So if you're a dividend trader, if you want to know who the dividend movers are for the day, having something like highlighted like this is really helpful. What I like to do is I like to turn a customized color onto my Benzinga signals feed. So let me see. I got my big Benzinga signals on there still. I'm going to go up here, and I'm gonna get rid of yours here for a sec, Mike, and let's make our Benzinga signals as purple. And so now let's see how this looks. Kind of scrolling through really quickly. Oh, look, there's, you know, 2 halts, Red Gallus and Sierra Whalers. Or those were resumptions, actually. But again, these are automated. Benzinga signals are automated, so there has to be no reporter involvement in the headline. This is going to be stuff that is happening within the second. This happened on the exchange. You're going to get alerted to it before that second is over. So it's a really good idea, in my opinion. Pro tip for everyone out there to kind of have their Benzinga signals highlighted like that.
And what I like to say is, you know, the BZ signals is a technology that communicates with the exchanges. So the only way it's not going to be in real time is if it's a 100th of a second lag time between the you know, the servers. But other than that, it is as real time as it can get.
And so I said I was going to get crazy on this. I just want to do something real quick. So if you wanted to kind of, if you heard me talk about Benzinga signals and you liked everything I said, and you wanted to watch all of these BZ signals, let me show you how you can do that and how it might look, how it might be overwhelming or not overwhelming. Maybe you like it. So let me just turn this off because we don't want a bunch of purple. As much as I like purple, I want a bunch of purple. Turn on my only Benzinga signal. Turn on only Benzinga signals for this one.
Nice. I think I know where you're going with this.
Okay, sweet. So we got four little kind of functions to Benzinga signals. So what if you really liked the service and you wanted to get all these, but you kind of wanted them a little more categorized, a little bit more kind of partitioned off a little bit, you could do something like this. You could type in your keyword search here. Here you're going to be watching your trading halts. You could type in black here. Here you're going to be watching your black trades. You could type in your spiking. Here you're going to be watching your price action. And you also like the options service that we give. So you're going to type in options there. And look, you have your 4 functions of Benzinga signals broken out sort of into their own little widget box. And, you know, you click and open the second widget there a minute ago made me think that, oh, well, you know, you can have 2, but hey, you can also have 4 if you need it, if you want it.
Absolutely. And one other thing is, say this was a little too congested for you.
Yeah.
What you can do is you can click this button right here.
Nice.
Pull that out. If you had the opportunity to have 6 or 8 monitors, you know, and you could then set block trading into its own monitor if you'd like. So
awesome.
Definitely a bunch of different ways to set up your news feed. And, you know, the only way you are, you know, not saving this so that it is not going to be set up this way is by hitting the X. By hitting the X, you're setting your screen back to the default or whatever is left on it.
So you're saying if you have, you know, customization set up, if you have your feed all pimped out and you got a bunch of awesome colors highlighting all the stuff you want to see and you hit that X, don't be surprised when it's not there.
It's not going to be there.
A little bit of a warning.
Actually, be surprised if it is there the next time you log in.
That's a good warning, Mike. Okay, so let's go on to the next quick thing I wanted to touch on, and that is some keyword searches. I mean, we've been doing more than a few keyword searches here, but I wanted to kind of give everyone at least sort of like a few that they can kind of play around with for your research purposes and, you know, see how it sort of suits you. I'm going to click back to sources. We're going to turn off Benzinga signals just for the heck of it, just going to turn on Benzinga wire here. So this is kind of how I use some keyword searching throughout my day. So let's say if I'm looking for, you know, I'm considering a news item that we want to cover for a Benzinga.com article, and I'm going, okay, well, what was the bigger news item of the day? Well, there was probably some notable guidance. There was probably some companies that gave some guidance. Maybe the guidance was good, maybe the guidance was bad. This is probably an area we can target for an article. This is probably an area that a trader might be able to target a trade. So let's say you wanted to learn for a day all the companies that had favorable guidance. You're feeling bullish today and you want to, you know, play the upside. So what can you do really, really, really quickly to see all the companies that might have raised their guidance for the day? You're just going to type in the keyword raise. I think it's raises. raises guidance. So look at, here you go. You got a ton of pieces of guidance here. You can see Herbalife raise their fiscal year 17 guidance. You can see Motorola raise their fiscal year guidance. Callaway Golf raise their guidance this day. And so what's kind of happening here is you'll see that there are a couple other kinds of headlines. If in this example I'm wanting to target guidance, and I don't want to see dividends, all I have to do is just specify with my filters that I only want to see earnings and guidance. It's just going to show me all of the raised outlook that one of our reporters on the news desk tagged these headlines as guidance. So this is a really quick way to do it. Pretty cool, right, Mike?
Yep, absolutely.
Sweet. So another quick one I want to show real quick. So I do this all the time. I'll turn off my earnings filter here. So let's say, Apple just had their earnings earlier this week. They reported their Q2 earnings. They're like sort of off in their cycle. A lot of companies are reporting their Q1 earnings right now. Apple happens to be reporting their Q2 earnings.
Of course they are.
Right. So I am a trader who's getting ready to look at the Apple report. It's before the earnings report hit. I'm giving you a little scenario analysis here. You want to prepare yourself for the earnings report. So what do? There's a couple things you can do using the Benzinga Pro feed. You can look to see really quickly, and you can do this a couple ways. I'm going to show you, I'll show you both of them here. You can look to see a history of how the company reported. So let me show you a little keyword search here, and this will kind of combine a ticker search, Apple, with a keyword. And I'm going to use the keyword Q1 because I know Apple is going to be reporting their Q2 after the close. Let's say this was we were given this presentation midday Tuesday. So type in Q1. You're going to get a lot of other news items here. Let's see if I can filter out some of these really quickly, make this a little bit easier on our eyes. And so I should be able to scroll through really quickly and see what the last earnings report happened. So that was pretty easy to find. So the last time Apple reported their Q1 earnings, they posted EPS of this, they posted sales of this, they gave guidance of this, that kind of thing. This is kind of a cool little function you can do, and you can kind of go back and mess around with it a little bit. You can do Q4, and we can kind of scroll through really quickly, and hey, there's your Q4 earnings report. So this is kind of the more, what's the word I want to use? This is the less, I would say, visual way to get this information. Benzinga Pro has a great visual solution, and that is the calendar. Nice, yeah. So you open the calendar window over here. I'll click in just to match your style here. So you can click to get to any of the widgets. By the way, I can't remember if you mentioned this, Mike. You can click them right here, or you can click them over here on this left sidebar. Let's click the calendar because that's what I wanted to show. So again, more of a visual representation of a lot of data is how I would call this. So let's say you want to go in and look at Apple earnings. How is the company reported over, I don't know how long Benzinga has data for. Oh my gosh, Benzinga has data going back to 2012. You can see all of Apple's earnings reports going back to 2012, kind of walking you through this calendar really quickly. This is the figures they actually reported, the sales figure they actually reported in this column. Here's what the analysts were expecting for earnings. Here's what the analysts were expecting for sales. And this is just kind of a little, it'll get you to some degree of how much of a beat was the quarter, a beat or a miss. You know, just kind of glancing at this chart, I can tell, at this table, I can tell that it looks like in the last, maybe 20 earnings report, 20 quarters, Apple's only missed one time, and that was actually in end of April 2016, they missed, and I'm sure the stock got crushed. Let's try it. Let's see if we can click here and look at the chart really quickly. So what I just clicked into was the details page, and Mike, you set up this over here to go into a little bit. It's this one right here, and what this is going to give you some fundamental information on the company. You're going to get all of our content categorized, kind of clumped together. You're also going to get a chart, and that is what I kind of wanted to show here. So let me see if I can jump back. We're looking at the daily chart right now, and look, I just kind of moused over. I wasn't even clicking anything there, ladies and gentlemen. I just had my mouse over in here, and I used the little roller on my mouse, and I'm kind of scrolling back through your chart of Apple here. And I think I wanted to say
Here, you pull it out right there.
Oh, you want to pull it out right here? Okay.
Yep, it'll be able to kind of show us a little.
Okay, sweet. And I wanted to check for the, what was it, April 2016. Let's see if I can find this real quick. April 2016, that would be right around there. So that was kind of my prediction. When I seen that miss from Apple, I said the stock probably got rocked, and it definitely did. It fell, you know, what is that? A good 10, 20 bucks or so.
Yep.
Cool. So I'm going to close this pop-up window. Real quickly close this. We kind of went into the calendar. We kind of showed you the detail page.
So what else here on this page? So so say, you know, another interesting thing you can do. You see you could reset the filters if you'd want to go back. But what I was thinking was, if we go to, we can just select right up here, click the word calendars, and you see I selected the analyst ratings. So what we have is all of the analyst ratings right here. In you know, April 2016, we could go to as well and see what the analysts thought of that after earnings.
That's great. Good point. And so you clicked that drop-down menu. What are you doing there?
Yeah. So.
But you can highlight that stuff?
That is correct. So some new features that we have is not only can you highlight, if you right click, you can export all of this data. So what I have a lot of people tell me they do is they, just to show you guys here, they take the earnings for the following week, just click there, here's all of next week's earnings, and then they export it to a CSV.
That's great. So they got a schedule of earnings. Right?
Exactly. So, you know, you can do that specific to your watch list as well. And, you know, if you guys ever want any help going through this, feel free to chat in with us. You can chat with support right here, right at the help tab, chat with support. Or, you know, you feel free to reach out to us. The phone number should be right here. You can ask for myself personally, Mike Marshall, or I will drop my email into the chat right now, just since we are on it. So guys, feel free to email me, and I can, you know, set you guys up with a one-on-one walkthrough to go through all of this if we're going a little too fast. But as you see, you know, about 11 different calendars that the Pro platform has to offer. So if you wanted to see what type of dividend, if any dividends came out today or were reported, you know, it's just that simple. Or any IPOs that came out, you know, anything, any retail sales. So really all of your places for research in a calendar view would be right here. Anything that you want to add to the calendars here, Brent?
I mean, I just kind of reiterate again, it's just like a very visual way. It's just a very visual way you can get a lot of this information. And, you know, we got some new features now where you can grab the information really quickly and put it into a spreadsheet like you were explaining. That's awesome. We got some smart users out there using their noggin.
Yeah, and you know, just to kind of tell you guys, the only reason why we added these exporting features and some of these other features, such as block trades and the automated option stuff, is because you guys told us you wanted it. So, you know, we are trying to build this platform, you know, obviously for the investor, for the day trader, for the researcher, and we would love to know what you guys are looking for. If there's, you know, another platform out there that you're using and it does a really good job at X, we would love to hear what that is and you know, see if it's something that we could bring to you guys on the Pro platform.
Yeah, so I mean, throw them into this webinar if you want to. You can make a suggestion here, or you can give Mike a call or email Mike Marshall@benzinga.com.
Awesome. And, you know, the last thing, Brent, since, you know, we have you here today, I would love it if you just kind of broke down the newest feature, the fund filings or the what funds are holding.
Okay, sure. Yeah, sure. Let's see. Okay, so let's jump over to isn't it? Let's see, I gotta click over to details here.
Oh yeah, sorry, I think I left you.
Why? What'd you do?
I think I put you in the wrong place here.
Oh, okay. Oh, sweet. Thank you.
There we go.
Okay, so what you can do here is, so what this field here looked like before, it just said search by symbol, security name. We just recently, like a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago maybe, Mike, I think,
Yep.
added the word fund, and you're like, what does that mean? How do I do that? So Mike's going to be typing in Berkshire, I think here. You want us to go for Warren Buffett. And so check this out. So how do you know what to click here, really? Well, look, we're trying to give you a little heads up. This is the symbol, this is the symbol, this is the fund. So it's got this little kind of descriptor here. So you're looking for Berkshire Hathaway, you can click fund, click it, and what am I looking at here? I'm looking at all of Warren Buffett 13G holdings. So, 13F holdings. So what is the 13F? How do we get this information? So big funds have to disclose their holdings 45 days after the close of the quarter. So that is March 31st, right? So actually, 13F season is going to be coming up here in the next couple weeks. I want to say even next week. And again, all these funds will have to disclose their holdings over the quarter. And again, it's 45 days delayed. So it's not hugely relevant for an active trader. However, if you like following these names, if you like following the smart guys, you know, the so-called smart guys in the room, Warren Buffett's of the world, and the David Einhorns and the Dan Loebs of the world, you can do that right here, and you can do that in Benzinga Pro. Normally, we'd have to send you out to the SEC site, the Edgar site. You'd have to do some comparing of the old 13F and the new 13F. It's all automatically in here, so right when that 13F filing hits for Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway in the next couple weeks here, this stuff is going to be automated. It's going to be automatically updated in real time. We're getting all that information right from the SEC.
Awesome. And so I think some news hit, I want to say a week or two ago about Warren Buffett or Berkshire Hathaway selling off, 7.5, 8 million shares of Wells Fargo. And so, it came across the feed and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And then I looked at their holding and I realized that they have about $3.5 billion.
Right. So you're like, okay, maybe that wasn't that huge of a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's a great point, Mike, because it's not always about the quantity necessarily. You know, you made a good point. You said, holy cow, 4 million shares or whatever it was. Oh, well, they own 300 million shares. That was only a drop in the bucket. However, it's that sentiment. You know, it's that. Okay, well, Warren Buffett has been a major holder in Wells Fargo for a long time now. He's never sold anything. Why is he doing it now? So that's just kind of, a quick way I sort of interpret that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we had a great question come in. Anthony, thank you for that.
Oh, awesome question. Thanks, Anthony.
So we have received that question often, and what it is going to look like.
What's the question first?
Yeah. So are you able to search a stock to see which funds are holding? The answer is unfortunately no, but only for a little while. Very soon, we will be having that feature. So it will be probably right here is my guess.
Nice.
So, as you see on this screen, you see the Berkshire Hathaway, their holdings. What you could see is Apple's stock, and then who's holding Apple stock on the institutional level. So that would be a feature or a tab that's going right here. It is already something that our development crew is working on. So Anthony, really appreciate that question. It is something we've heard before, and it will be coming your way very soon.
Yeah, and just kind of like, a little bit of the logistics of how we're doing that. I mean, we're taking the data that's already on the SEC site. We're taking the data that we just were showing you in the fund holding section, and we're just compiling it in a different way. Instead of compiling it by the firm, we're instead compiling it by the stock, so that it kind of be the opposite here. When you click over, and I'm sure the little tab will be right about here. When you click into the tab, it'll just be stacking all the firms that own Apple.
Yep, absolutely.
Cool. Yep.
And so, guys, we have pretty much came to the end of the webinar here.
Oh,
Yep.
hey,
Absolutely.
Mike. Thanks, Mike.
Appreciate it.
Mike said, show us how you did that again, the holdings.
Absolutely. So what
Good
we
question,
did
sir.
is we have the details tab. You get to it from the details. So think about, you know, extra details on a stock or, you know,
whatever the fun is. The ETF, it
yep.
can be anything.
Meaning these are going to be your basic details right here. We can go up to the search bar at the top, and you know, just another fund that I'm thinking of is called .72. Type in .72, and I see the fund right here. You know, and there are, you know, so make sure you guys are clicking the right one or the one that you do want to follow, and then you will see right here. This is their holdings. These are their positions. If you wanted to stack them up from smallest to largest or largest to smallest.
And look at that. Look at the search, the scroll bar over there on the right side, Mike.
They own a few things, I guess you could say.
They own thousands and thousands of stocks. So imagine you trying to, users out there, imagine trying to go through all of these positions. I mean, you go to the SEC, let's say you know how to use the SEC site, and you go to the SEC site and you pull up Cohen's .72 filing here, and you're going, how could I ever even imagine to start making some sense of this? Well, that's exactly what the fund holdings feature here is doing.
Yep.
Making it easy way. You can mess with, you know, the columns here. You can sort by alphabetical. You can sort by the position. You can sort by the value, etc.
Yep. And you know, what they've done on the development side is pretty much made this functionable, just like an Excel spreadsheet. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of different features and different things that you can do right up here at the header level. So guys, we really appreciate you guys joining us today. You know, come back again next week. We will be, I don't think either of us were prepared to have the topic at our fingertips right now, but, you know, we will be letting you guys know what the topic is. It should be on our micro site. You guys should be getting a link to that here shortly. You know, really appreciate it again. Thank you guys for being, you know, loyal users and following us. You know, and let us know how we can improve and what you guys would like to see.
Do we have the next webinar scheduled?
Yeah.
We don't have the topic, but do we have it scheduled?
It should be, I believe, next Wednesday or Thursday. I apologize, guys. I had that all back at the desk, but it is just not readily available right now.
So is it going to be 5 o'clock again, you think?
Yes, I believe 5 or 5:30. If you guys are planning on doing it with or if you guys would suggest a different time or anything like that.
We're open.
Yes, let us know.
We're flexible.
You know,
just want to give
appreciate you back there, Andrew.
I see him.
All right. Well, you know, thanks again, guys. Thanks for joining us. Tell us what we can do to get better. And see you guys later.